Ryan here from TrailFlow, and today we're going to do something a little different from our regular dig vlogs and do a bit of a bike check. So today we're going to talk about my Specialized Demo 8 downhill bike. So I've had this guy since 2016, I believe, and it is a size medium and is running on the 27.5 inch wheels, and it's been a great bike. So, and I've got it set up a bit more of a free ride style than DH race, and that's to kind of tailor it to the local terrain that we're riding. Here in Nova Scotia, we don't have the biggest mountains and don't really have a DH race scene, unfortunately, at this point. Sad face. But hopefully, someday, again, that'd be awesome. I miss DH racing, it's fun. Anyway, I've got this set up for free riding. A few things I've done to the bike to get it working how I want. We'll go and talk about those now. So one of the things I've done to help get this working better for free ride and our mellower terrain is I'm running a little wider cassette than you would on a DH race bike. So this is a 1132 10-speed. I've got a SRAM EXO short cage derailleur running that right now. And that gives me a little bit of a bailout gear that if I'm pedaling up a fire road or through a flat section on this bike, I can do it without too much suffering. The other two things I've done to make this a little more versatile for free ride and even a little bit of enduro type action is I'm running a little bit lighter weight casing tires. These are the Specialized grid casings, so they're not as heavy as a full-on DH casing. They're basically one thickness up from a regular trail tire, but I do now, as of yesterday, have tire liners in here. I was getting some tire squirm, and that's no fun. I had a couple of crashes where tires folded on me, so I put some new liners in here. I've got the Victoria Air liners, which came highly recommended from my local bike shop. Shout out to Banks Bikes for that. So I'm looking forward to trying those out this weekend, and we'll actually do a bit of riding clips with this guy in the next couple days, and I'll give you some feedback on what I think of the liners. So, because I have a little lighter tires with liners, so it rolls a bit faster. Makes my life a little easier. The other big change I've got on this bike from my DH race setup of years past to more of a trail riding setup is I'm running dropper post. Yeah, you don't see these very often on downhill bikes, but I'll tell you this, if you have a decent range cassette in the back and get your seat up in a reasonable height, pedaling the big bike around between zones is really not that terrible. So what I've got on here is a highly modified, very much warranty voided, do not attempt this at home, Specialized command post. And I've got this set up with a under seat remote, non-remote, a under seat release for it, which is a modified lever off of a 2003-ish Hayes 9 brake that actuates the control, and then you can drop it from either on the bike or beside it. So there's no remotes. This bike obviously doesn't come with routing for housing for dropper posts, so having the release under the seat really makes it a lot easier to get set up. And you know, on the downhill bike, you drop it at the top of the run and you don't put it back up till you're done having fun. So there's absolutely no need to have a remote on this, so the under the seat option works really well. Now, part two of my dropper post modification, you notice how to yank on that. This post is hollow. There is no air chamber in this. This is some serious hacks and bodges action going on here. Shout out to our friends at GMVN for that. I'll pull this out so you can have a bit of a look. Stay. Stay. Goodbye. So, what I've had to do to get this post working, so I already mentioned I've got the brake lever off an old Hayes brake that I modified to fit the clamp mechanism on here, which would have normally been for external cable routing, but now is my release. So the bottom of the post, I've had to go and cut about 2 inches or so of length off the outer tube on this in order to get it to sit low enough in the bike. And conveniently, when it's bottomed out in the frame, it's also tops out at basically exactly where I want it to. So the length is pretty much perfect for my use on this bike. So yeah, about 2 inches or so of grease, lovely. Post got hacked off there, which also meant the air valve got removed from the bottom, a bushing, a couple other bits, which means she's pretty much hollow in there. So there's no back pressure. This will not return to height on its own. You do have to yank up on the saddle to get full extension. So obviously this is very much warranty voided. And you know, let's be honest, I don't care in this scenario. I've had this post for quite a long time, and it is the one way I could figure out how to get proper climbing extension on the downhill bike, and without maybe resorting to an old school telescoping post with twin seat clamps, like the old Tytech or Axiom ones. For those that have been riding a while might know what I'm talking about. So this works awesome, does the job. Obviously, if you're going to even consider doing a mod like this, don't blame me if something goes wrong. This is very much an unsupported setup. However, it is allowing me to get a lot more use out of my downhill bike, because it's not misery to get between jump zones or between areas where I've got some nice drops. So that has been an absolute game changer for me. And for those wondering, this is a 125 mil drop. So when it's down, awesome for going down hills. Pop it up, I can get to the next zone without too much suffering. So a few other setup things on this bike. I'm running a RockShox Boxer. For those with keen eyes might realize this is not a stock Boxer. This guy started out life as a 2012 Boxer on my last demo, which was a 26-inch wheeled version. And instead of buying a new fork, I actually went and swapped lowers to the 27.5-inch version, which conveniently fit perfectly. Again, probably not something RockShox is going to support, so at your own risk. But I've been running it this way for 4 years now. It's been awesome. So that saved me from buying a new fork. Additionally, I'm running a damper from Avalanche Racing as opposed to the stock RockShox cartridge, and that's been fantastic. It's got rebound compression adjustment, hydraulic bottom out, super smooth, no spiking. It's great. I'm really happy with this cartridge, and the folks over at Avalanche have been great to work with when getting it set up. They valve these specifically for your riding style, and then a train you're on, your weight and everything. So you call up Craig at Avalanche, and you'll get the job done for you. So that's been awesome upgrade, and highly recommended. Other setup and specs, I've got the Owens TTX coil shock in the back, and I'm running a King Creek Vault lightweight spring on that. Currently at 450 pounds with the weight, and that is driven off of the aftermarket progressive linkage from Specialized. So instead of the stock linear link, I've got the progressive link on there, so I can still have it nice and supple out of the top, but that does allow it to ramp up towards the end, so I'm not wallowing off of drops or big repeated hits. So if you've got a demo and you think it's a little bit too linear, this is money well spent. Very happy to have that on there. So those are a couple of the key mods from the stock setup. Otherwise, it's running some fairly standard parts. I've got Stan's rims, Specialized hub in the front, E13 hub in the back, spank bar, again the SRAM drivetrain, SRAM cranks, SRAM exo derailleur, guide brakes, 8-inch rotors. Good working machine. It's in its current setup, it's probably, I don't know, 37 pounds-ish. So it's not the lightest. Obviously, adding the dropper post, the bigger cassette, actually the Avalanche cartridge as well is a little bit on the heavier side. So I've added some weight over what it could be, but these are good, durable, well-working parts that are suiting my needs. So I could definitely drop some weight if I wanted to, but it's far from heavy, so it's all good. So yeah, that's my Specialized Demo 8. Don't remember if I mentioned already, but this is a size medium, and I'm about 5'10". I like the fit, so you can size up or size down as per your needs. So there we go. That's my my Demo 8 set up for a little bit of free ride action, and we're going to cut now to some riding clips from Keppoch Mountain in Antigonish, Nova Scotia, where we're going to go do some shuttle access downhilling this weekend, and see how that goes. And afterwards, we'll talk about the Victoria airliners and see how I'm getting along with those. Bye bye.